All right, Rabbi Kolakowski, Koblen Tzaruv, in a room learning Torah. Kedushas Levi, the second Torah in Parshas Balak. Otta Yalachachi Yakul is called, Asher is Yerek. It says in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 4, and now this congregation will lick us up, all of us, like an ox licks up the grass, the green herbage of the field. So what's this? Why is why is it that the Moabites used this simile or metaphor to describe the Israelites? Yesh lahavin lamazeh hamashil ashor sha'oichel yerek hasada. Why did the Moabites choose this metaphor of an ox eating grass in the field? I'm getting tired. Right, a long day. Drove all the way to Pittsburgh. 6 hour drive, right? Let's learn. It's a mitzvah. But near a Lavoie, especially the place we've never been for learning Torah. So it seems. Well, how do we explain it? Mikodim Nevar Pasik. So let's first explain the verse in Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 1. V'nosati Isev Psadcha levhemtecha v'chalta v'zvota. We sing Krishma every day and every night. And I will give grass in thy field for thy cattle, and thou shalt eat, and thou shalt be satisfied. Keshem Yisborach Baruch Hu Kalal as Adam Arishan, V'chaltis Oisef Hasideh. Because the blessed Lord may be blessed, cursed Adam, the first human being, and said, thou shalt eat the herbs of the field, the grass of the field. That's in Genesis chapter 3, verse 18. Ki kol ma she'adam ha'ochel yesh bo mitzvahs. What does this mean? He says everything a human being eats has a mitzvah, has mitzvahs commanded to it, commandments attached to it. The hainu, for example, tfua yesh bo yasiyos adam lachreish lixer. Any type of produce, there's a human aspect in it that he has to plow the field and reap the the produce. So when it comes to plowing, excuse me, I think we're gonna stop after this Torah, right? Even though I'd like to maybe do three, maybe find a short one. When it comes to plowing, we have a mitzvah. Deuteronomy 22:10 says you should not plow with an ox and a donkey together. V'chein v'zriya yesh mitzvah leisizra kloyim. When it comes to planting, in the previous verse, Deuteronomy 22:9, it says you should not plant hybrid mixed seeds. Or even not just hybrid. You can't uh, plant the same two different species next to each other. Each section of your garden has to be specific for the one species. So when you get into Kabbalistic, a mystical concept is that everything in the world has sparks of holiness. So you see that through the mitzvahs you lift up the spark of holiness that's in that food. And really all the food we eat has mitzvahs, has commandments. However, grass, human beings don't usually plant grass. I mean, I know in many places plant grass seed for various reasons, but really, it there's no human effort to plant grass. In Mehem Asiyas Mitzvahs. So there's really no mitzvah that one fulfills with the excuse me, with the grass that grows on its own. Ve'eich yuchal lahalos oisim v'chilas oisim. So then there's no spiritual component that you lift up the holy sparks by eating grass. V'zeu shekol Hashem yisborach ad marishon sheichel machal she'ein bo shum mitzvah. That was the curse that God put on Adam after the original sin, is that he should eat food that has no. And again, we don't have the same theology of original sin as the Christians have. I should point that out. But we just mean the first sin. Um, the punishment was that they should eat a food that doesn't have any mitzvah. Me'adam shuchal adam al yidei zeh lahalis in its sites. I should say chamachal, that a human being performs when eating this thing. Excuse me. So he's not lifting up the spark of holiness that's in the food. That's what's hinted to, that God says, I will give grass in your field for your cattle. So we don't eat grass directly, right? We eat animals that eat the grass. And when we eat the animal, when we eat the steak, whatever it is, uh, there's mitzvahs commanded uh, beyond the emergency immersion. I have two different things on my mind. The human being eats the behemoth. The human being eats the steak, and there's mitzvahs there. Yesh bechilas behemoth, yesh mitzvahs shchita, ushar mitzvahs. Learning with Mesiras Nefesh here, right? There's the mitzvah the shecht, to ritual slaughter. That's a commandment. And other commandments, bechilas baser, when it comes to eating meat. So therefore, the grass has a spiritual rectification through the being eaten by the cow, and then we eat the cow, and so that makes the tikkun, that makes spiritual rectification on the grass. Because the animal eats the grass and the human eats the animal. But mitzvahs b'ala esav gamkein. So through those commandments that are involved with eating the behemoth, eating the animal, so the grass also is lifted up, spiritual view that. V'hine Rizal kasav keneged av yisaydis demitzmei chaim adaber. The Uriah Kodesh, Rabbi Isaac Luria, the great Kabbalist, talks about four elements, the four levels of creation. They're spoken about in other earlier Sfarim, and those elements are the inanimate, the plant which grows, the living beings, the animals, and the speaking is only human beings. But okay. So he says sorry, I'm so tired. There's four Yisaidus. There's four elements: the inanimate, the plant, and living animals, and the speaking. Neged zehu arba ilanos. And corresponding to this, there are four spiritual worlds. Atzilus Bri Yitzir. The world of emanation, the world of creation, the world of formation, and the world of action. Nimsa Neged Chai Hubriya. So he says that the concept of living animals is connected to the world of Bria, Bariatic world, the world of creation. Hine nefesh habal tshuva, tainu gerim lahem yosef b'nikol halos and tzitzis mishu tzadik menurav. Fascinating thing. The soul of the Baal Tshuva, of the penitent, and of the gerim, of the converts, it's easier for them to pick up the sparks of holiness than someone who was from birth, who was a tzaddik all his life. You know, Baal Tshuva could go chvais somewhere where nobody ever made kiddush before, and make kiddush there. Tzaddik Gomer, he can't do that. But Baal Tshuva could do that, right? Like we did last Shabbos, right? Not yesterday, the Shabbos before. V'nizer Rosh Balak haya like Pachad Yisrael Machmas Yisrael Lichasam Helen Tzaitzis. So this wicked Balak, he was afraid of the Jews because the Jews, when they were traveling, they picked up holy sparks, right? And that's why another Rasha giving Musar, oh, he shouldn't go and make kiddush in a fremde Platz because he doesn't want to see. Who knows? That could be one of the last Nitzaitzes Fabershich Kimmen. Wer weiß. So anyway, dieselbe Sache, einer fragt, was macht jener Ager and this and was and jens. It's a big, at least Nitzaitzes in doing this. So, Kedusha. And this Rasha Balak, he hated holiness very much. That this is what's hinted that he was annoyed by the children of Israel. He was disgusted in the eyes of this wicked Balak to become a Jew. This was hinted to. The Moabites were very upset from the people. So we said in the previous Torah, wherever it says the people, it means the Gerim, it means the Erev that converted, and joined Israel. So it means they're so abundant. Hainu Gerim Shalayalu Isim Canal. They're abundant means the converts, that they didn't lift them up, like we said, Kehem Mesugalim Yoser Laos and Tzitz. The Gerim, the converts, are able to accomplish spiritual rectifications in a much easier way than the Tzaddikim, than the Tzaddik Menurav, than someone who was from birth. They're also Tzaddikim, obviously, El Gerim Tzaddik V'Aleinu. But what I'm saying is that the Ger and Baal Tshuva can accomplish things picking up sparks because they came from a different world. And so it's easier for them to lift up the sparks. We know Alpi Kabbalah have to lift up all the sparks before Mashiach comes. I had a song that I wrote about this and I never really finished it, but I had an idea. But let's finish this Torah and then maybe we'll sing a little bit. So this is what's hinted to here. It's like an ox that's licking up the grass in the field. The general rule is when it comes to the souls of the converts, they are lifted up to the world of Bria, very high and lofty level with the angels, just before Tzilus. And the thing is also, is that there's something that's that you can laugh at, or someone covered. I mean by Chumash. So the Plant matter is lifted up to the level of the animal because the animal eats the plant, and that becomes the body of the animal, right? It gives energy to the animal. And that's corresponding to the world of Bria, the world of creation. So that's what it means, like the ox licking it up. The hint is to lifting up to the world of Bria, the world of creation. All right. Oh, how do I turn this off?